from my heart and from my hand. Why don't people understand my intention?
Good morning guys, welcome back to the channel. So we have done the initial running mileage for the electric EV conversion, so it's now time to race it against the quickest Mini that we've got in our collection, which is my son's 1991 Mini Cooper. Now this has done 80,000 kilometers and it's absolutely stock, there's no modifications to it. Now the car itself weighs around about 620 kilos, whereas the Clubman has the disadvantage of around about 100 kilos. Now, although the EV conversion didn't add that much additional weight, around about 30-40 kilos to the overall package, it is the estate version, so by its very nature, it is actually heavier than the Cooper. So yeah, let's get these two side by side, get them on the road and see what the results are. Now, because of some of the initial testing that we've been doing with the Clubman, we already have a rough idea of where it will perform and where it won't perform. So we've actually got several cameras set up along this course. We'll have one at the 10-meter mark, we'll have one at the half-meter mark, and we're also using this 360 camera as well, so you can actually see the difference between the two cars as they're going down the road. So yeah, let's get started. Okay guys, I'll just quickly stop the video there for a moment because the cameras that we had set up inside the cars for whatever reason didn't work. So I'll provide you with some commentary off the back of each of these runs. Now you can see from that standard mode setting that if you press the accelerator quickly, the car comes off the line extremely slowly and it takes a good 5 to 10 meters before there's any type of momentum built up in the car. Now that's not unusual for an electric car. Even a car like Tesla really tests their speed when they've got the car actually moving, not from a standing start. So a standing start test, not ideal for electric cars. And as you can see in standard mode, absolutely the Cooper was by far much quicker. Now in the second run, we switched to sports mode where all of the available torque from the electric motor is available on tap immediately. But yet again, on a standing start, it does still take some time to build up its momentum. And whereas in the standard mode, I would say it took 10 meters to get that torque in, on the sports mode, it felt more like it was 5 meters. Now, unfortunately, it still wasn't able to close the gap that it lost initially from launch. So although we did get some good initial speed and we started to keep the gap between the Cooper and the EV, the Cooper still won out. Now, interestingly enough, towards the end of that run, around about 200 meters down the road, the car did start to close the gap on the Cooper, but we ran out of space. So anything in terms of short sprints, this is not the package for this. It's not a traffic light racing car. Now for me personally, the final test, the rolling test, should be by far where this car shines. Now, we took the cars up to 20-25 kilometers an hour, then we pressed the accelerator. And as you can see, launching off the line, it is side by side with the Cooper to a certain point. However, when we got to around about 100 meters, it started to kind of top out on its available torque, and as soon as the Cooper changed into its last gear, he was able to accelerate. But again, when we got to 200 meters, both the Cooper and the EV were pretty much neck and neck in terms of the distance between the two, and then there was some more available power starting to kick in on the EV. Now I suspect, but because this is not a cooled system and it's passive, that there might be some heat management issues going on when it's at the top of the range, because if you keep going with the momentum beyond 250 meters, you certainly feel like there's something artificial stopping it going any faster. And it does really top out at around about 110 kilometers per hour. So guys, closing comments. Was this a fair comparison? Well, no, not really. By its very nature, the Clubman estate would obviously be heavier than the Cooper. However, I do think it is an interesting benchmark, because for me and for many others, a 1991 single carburetor Cooper was the best one that Mini ever produced, and that's always going to be the reference point, certainly for me. So as far as EV conversions is concerned, the closer and closer they can get to that feeling and that performance, the more and more commercial success I think they'll have. Now this system is very close, particularly in its simplification and trying to achieve that, because there are other EV platforms available. There are much more engineering required and are much more complicated and not really, should we say, a DIY project. So I think these guys are getting extremely close. Now what I would like to do as a next step, obviously as a comparison, is actually get a Cooper EV conversion side by side with our 1991 Mini, as well as testing it against where the Clubman is, to see just how that difference stacks up. And hopefully I can work with the guys at electricmini.nl to bring you that in a future video. But for the moment, we've still got some more modifications to do on this. I don't think they'll improve the performance as such, but as far as the usability is concerned, absolutely. The next part is actually to get the dial cluster upgraded to the digital version, so that we have much better information than the temporary screen that we've got installed at the moment. Now, yeah, we're going to continue to have fun with this. I do enjoy driving it. It is a very different experience. But if you're a traffic light warrior, this is not the system. But if you like to live between 60 and 110 kilometers an hour in your driving, the throttle response and the torque available in that bandwidth is fantastic and really enjoyable. So yeah, stay tuned. There's more to come in this direction. But for the moment, I wish you all a great day and talk to you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye. Hi guys, I just want to stop the video there for a moment and let you know that any donations or ad revenue generated by this channel is actually being given towards cancer counselling charities that are helping families that have received a cancer diagnosis get through difficult times. So any help from your side, donations, or just watch the video to the end is highly appreciated. And you know, from my side, thank you so much for the support so far.